You see them everywhere, right? But you probably don't really see them. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of our most common and most misunderstood neighbors to uncover the secret social lives of crows. I mean, think about it. You see them on telephone wires, walking across lawns, making a racket in the treetops. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what's going on in their world? Because let me tell you, their society is way more intricate than you'd ever guess. So let's start where a lot of societies do, with the couple. But for crows, well, romance is complicated. If you watch them, you'll see these crow couples sitting super close, preening each other's feathers, sometimes even nibble at their mate's neck, kind of like a little back rub. It's this behavior people call canoodling, and it really looks like they have this deep, lifelong bond. But here's where the science makes things a little messy. Crows are what we call socially monogamous. That means a pair, yeah, they'll stay together for life. But they're also genetically promiscuous. And that means, well, they aren't always faithful. And we're not talking about a rare, one-off thing here. One major study found that nearly 1/5, 19% of all baby crows were the result of these extra pair copulations. So while they put on a united front as this devoted couple, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. So how does this complicated couple go about building a family? Well, it all starts with the home. Building a nest is a serious team effort. Both partners get in on it, building this big, sturdy nest out of sticks and then lining it with softer stuff. But they're also incredibly smart about it. Get this, if they think a predator is watching them, they'll build decoy nests just to throw them off the trail. And their cleverness is just amazing. Crows have actually been seen using those man-made anti-bird spikes, the things we put up to keep them away, not as a deterrent, but as a reinforced foundation for their nests, kind of like rebar. They literally turn our defenses into their own advantage. It's brilliant. Okay, so once the chicks hatch, the crow family gets even more complex, because it's not just mom and dad in the picture. See, crows do this thing called cooperative breeding. What that means is it's not just two parents raising the kids. A single breeding pair can have up to 10, yeah, you heard that right, 10 extra birds helping them out. Which of course brings up this really fascinating puzzle. These helpers are usually the male kids from previous years. So you gotta ask, why would they put their own lives on hold, their own chances to breed, just to be nannies for their younger brothers and sisters? What's the deal? Well, it turns out there are some pretty big payoffs. First, it's something called inclusive fitness. By helping raise their siblings, they're making sure their own family genes survive. Makes sense. Second, it's basically parenting practice. They learn really valuable skills for when it's their turn. And finally, it's a long-term play. They're first in line to inherit the family's prime real estate. So that's what's in it for the helpers. But what about the parents? This quote from Corvid Research just puts it perfectly. These helpers might seem like a total burden, but if one of the parents gets hurt, it's these lazy helpers who suddenly step up and save the whole brood. They're like an insurance policy. But there is a much, much darker and more dramatic side to crow society. And this is where things go from family cooperation to, well, something that looks a lot like organized justice. Just listen to this unbelievable eyewitness account. A group of crows gathered around this one single crow that looked really down, and after a whole lot of intense cawing, the group just descended on the lone crow, pushed it into a lake, and drowned it. And the most chilling part? The victim didn't even fight back. This behavior is so specific, it actually has a name, a crow court. It really does seem to be a form of capital punishment, where a judgment is made and then the sentence is carried out by the entire community. It just makes you wonder, what crime could possibly deserve that? And look, this isn't just some crazy story. We've actually got data on this kind of aggressive behavior. Look at this chart. The difference is just staggering. Crows show way higher rates of aggression than their close cousins, the ravens. It points to a social dynamic that is uniquely intense, and yes, sometimes really violent. So after seeing all of this, from their love lives all the way to their laws, it's pretty clear we need to look at these birds in a whole new way. I mean, just think about all the contradictions we've just seen. They're loving partners, but they have a promiscuous streak, they're ingenious builders and have these complex families with live-in nannies, and they're a society that is capable of passing and carrying out a death sentence. So the next time you hear that familiar cawing outside your window,
Ask yourself this. Are you just listening to a bunch of birds? Or are you maybe eavesdropping on a family argument, a strategic meeting, or just maybe a court of law that's about to come to order?